Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nice to meet you again, my students. So in this meeting, we are going to talk about a word and its parts. The parts of word would be root, affixes, and their shapes. So our focus today is the definition of word. What does word looks like? What is roots, affixes, and also their shape. Purpose of our discussion today that is expecting you as the students to be able to elaborate the term word, mention the word categories, and also differentiate the term base, root, and stem. At first, let's see the definition of word. I think everybody is very familiar with the word because word, the language that you use in your daily life, your daily conversation, of course, dealing with word. But when someone asks you, what is word? The definition of word, can you answer? Can you explain it? So today, let's say, as our discussion last meeting, that is minimal free form. So a word is a minimal free form. What is free form means? An element that can occur in isolation or stand alone and or whose position with respect to neighboring elements is not entirely fixed. Okay, that is what word means. That is the free forms stand alone. Remember, free form stand alone. Like book, or I have one word here, builder. Builder here consists of two morphemes or comes from the word build, and build here belongs to word that is free form. Meanwhile, the suffix er here doesn't belong to free form or word because it cannot stand alone or because it cannot occur in isolation. Okay, that is a word. Remember, a word is free form that can stand alone, can occur in isolation. Without something, it can stand alone. Okay, let's see. Case 1. I have two things here to show you. That is the word builder. And what is builder means? Someone who builds, right? Someone who builds. So builder here means someone who builds. Our our focus here in morphology class is this one word builder. It has the same meaning, builder and someone who builds. It has the same meaning. But our focus here belongs to builder. Why? Because it belongs to word. Meanwhile, this one, someone who builds, belongs to phrase and it doesn't our focus. And it focuses on syntax class, this one, phrase and sentence. Okay, that is case 1. Second case. Let's see. I am going to underline the word minimal in the definition of word. The word minimal here is to answer that we do not identify phrases as case 1, such as the hunters, or someone who builds, such as the hunters, a subject in a sentence. The hunters here belongs to a subject in a sentence, but this is not our focus because it belongs to phrase as a single word. So another word can appear between the two. In addition, the word hunters can stand alone and is thus a free form. Okay, in this phrase, the hunters, a single word may appear like this one: the courageous hunters, the smart hunters, like this one. So it can appear between the and hunters, right? And the hunters here once again belongs to phrase. So once more, our focus here is word, that is only hunters. Okay, that is minimal means, while free forms means can stand alone. Or okay, here it is, the case 2. Let's see the word hunters. I have three colors here. Hunters. The hunters pursued the bear. This is the the example. The bear was pursued by the hunters. Okay, let's see the explanation. The units ER, this one, the green, the blue color, and as the red colors do not count as words since they cannot stand alone or they cannot occur in isolation. However, the word hunt here can stand alone, can stand can occur in isolation. What does it mean occur in isolation? It has its meaning. Even there is no units ER and units S, right? It has meaning. Meanwhile, if you delete the word hunt and try to find out the meaning of this one, it's impossible. That's why it cannot occur in isolation. It cannot stand alone. Okay, their positioning with respect to adjacent elements is completely fixed. This is fixed position. This one, ER and S. Let's say some cases if you are trying to to adjust the position of the blue colors or the red colors, like this one, air hands. It sounds not English words, like this one, sir hunt. What does it mean? And if you are trying to open your dictionary, of course there will be no meaning you find, like this one. Once more, their positioning with respect to adjacent elements is completely fixed. Okay, this one, the units ER and S. In order to understand why it should be here and this one should be here, we are going to discuss in derivational morpheme and inflectional morpheme, the process of uh, derivational. And okay, back to our focus today, words. Here, words consisting of one or more morphemes. What is morphemes? Morphemes is the smallest meaningful unit of a language. Like word, it belongs to morpheme. But what kind of morpheme? What type of morpheme? We are going to discuss later in morphemes. Morpheme is divided into two: free morphemes, bound morphemes. Okay, what is free? What is bound? We discuss it later. Let's say morphemes, words here. I have one morpheme, two morphemes, three morphemes, and more than three morphemes. Let's see. And here. And here consists of one morpheme. If you are going to add s, for example, like in boy, becomes ants, it's impossible. Okay? Why? Because it belongs to conjunction. The the morphemes that can be added here belongs to lexical free morphemes. Okay, the topic would be in free morpheme later on. But let's focus on what is it words here. Boy consists of two morphemes. Can be consist of two morphemes like boy and boys. Hunt can be three morphemes like hunt, this is one, hunter, two, hunters, three. Okay, I have the examples of more than three. Hospital, hospitalize, hospitalization, hospitalizations. Okay, this is the examples of words that consist of one or more morphemes. Again, what is morphemes? The types of morphemes. Let's see in next meeting. There are two basic types of words. The first one is simple and the second one is complex. What is simple? Cannot be broken down into smaller, meaningful unit. It cannot be broken down anymore. Meanwhile, like this one, okay, like this one, and you cannot break it down into smaller, meaningful, smaller unit again. No. Meanwhile, the complex one would be can be analyzed into constituent parts, each of which expresses some identifiable meaning. Like this one, boy. It belongs to complex words. Why? Because in the second or the first or and the second morphemes, it has it expresses some identifiable meaning. What does it mean as here? As here means plural. Meanwhile, this one means singular. Like this one, hunt. It belongs to verb. In Indonesia would be mengejar. Meanwhile, the hunters here, the person who hunt. The person. Okay, so ER here, identifiable meaning, hunter. What about this one? As, of course, the plural meaning of hunters, or there are more than two, more than one people who hunt, who do the hunt. Okay, this one. Okay, one more. Complex here can be analyzed into constituent parts, each of which expresses some identifiable meaning. Okay, let's focus again. Go to word structure. As the topic of our meeting today, beside talking about word, we are going to talk about the parts of words. I have three things here, three terminologies. The first one is base. What is base? As usual, this is very familiar in your daily conversation. You use it in your daily conversation like noun, verb, or adjective. Okay, this is it belongs to base. It means that the existing morpheme, the existing word that consists of noun or verb or adjective. The example would be like this one, book. So what is the second one? Second one is stem. What is stem? The first morphemic process by attaching an affix results another lexical category. Okay, this one. So the second process here, when you attach s here, it belongs to stem. This one is stems. Stem from what? Stem from the base. Book becomes books. Okay. So the second or the first process of base or the original word consisting of noun or verb or adjective, it is called stem. That is the difference between base and stem. Meanwhile, root here, the second to the last processes. Morphemic processes. Still attaching affix. Affix here consists of might be prefix, might be suffix. Let's see the examples. Nation here belongs to base. Okay, this is the word, the original word. National. You can see this the suffix here. It belongs to stem because it has morphemic process. This is the first morphemic process by attaching suffix this one into the existing words. Remember, the second process, the first morphemic process belongs to stem. Meanwhile, this is the second process to the last. From nationalize, denationalization belongs to root. The second to the last morphemic process, this one. Okay, understand? Okay, I think it's the types of affixes. Uh, the the familiar terminologies would be prefix and suffix. Prefix here, the example in Indonesia would be awalan or attaching morpheme before before the word, the real word, the base. Disappear. This here belongs to prefix. I have one example. Infix here in English exactly there is no infix in English, but some slang, informal conversation, informal words use infix. The example would be singa bloody porian. Infix here in Indonesia would be sisipan. You infix a morpheme in between singa and porian. The what is it? The real word would be Singaporean, but when you attach when you attach and fix here, it expresses some uh, emotion, some it deals with your taste, of course. It can be your mood, your happiness, your what is it, everything. Okay, and this is the function of infix in English, and the use of infix in English will be in informal conversation. Singa Bladiporian. Okay. Suffix would be in Indonesia akhiran. There are so many suffix. Hunt, hunter becomes hunter. Meanwhile, circumfix here, of course there is no circumfix in English. That's why I provide an Indonesian examples like this one. Keadilan. So circumfix here between the real word, that is ke and an. In English would be justice. This is the examples. This is the types of affixes, and along with it, there. I think that's it for our discussion. Go to assignment. You have to read in very careful the instruction. Please do provide some examples of base, stem, and root in your vernacular. The example should be explained. What to be explained? The reason why they are supposed to be base, stem, or root. Okay, this assignment should be submitted 3 days after the YouTube link shared via WhatsApp group. And the submission can be sent to harry7262 at gmail.com. Do your best. Cheating is strictly not allowed. Remember, strictly not allowed. Second case.